Ahoy! So, Theodore, welcome to the podcast Spark. Thank you for responding to the to the invitation, and I want you to introduce yourself to us.
Yeah, thank you for your invitation, Chesha. Um, it's a first for me. I'm a financial analyst in a company called Mimosa that finances agricultural projects. And I'm here in holiday for 1 month, just watching nature along with biologists who know a lot more than me and who are great in showing me what's around.
Cool. And what is your background? You're not biologist, or are you?
No, I did the business school and I specialized in accountancy and auditing. And then I got interested in the matters of food, let's say. And I joined the company I am in currently.
Okay. And you like nature and animals that you're here, or what was the main reason?
Yes, the main reason, rationale behind going into this program was I wanted to go in a wild place. It's not my first experience, but the other destinations I was looking into were too wild and I didn't have people I knew to help me prepare my travel, and I heard of this program through a girl who did the same, and the way she talked to me about this program just sparkled my eyes and made me so hard to want to go and experience the same kind of experience than her, which is uh, being very um, being very much into the wild and but still comfortable with smart people for several weeks and living in a community in a country that is still um, in progress with its development, but also already developed, so pretty safe. And all the promises have been completed. I don't know if it's English, but I think the idea is it.
Yeah, I think it's clear. So you are happy with what you came here to look for, and any regrets?
Um, for my experience, I don't have any regrets, and I'm very, very happy. Um, after this program is incredible and it's very well held. Congratulations to Martin and Hanika. Um, but I don't. I also see the. I mean, I've experienced through the travel not only teddy bear experiences, and I've been surprised to discover Costa Rica and its trends, I would say, political trends.
Okay.
And I see that it's a very beautiful country, but it's also a country that has its challenges and that will have to overcome them if the country wants to uh, keep its heritage.
Do you want to point out some?
Yes, the purchase power of Costa Rican people is just going lower and lower, so they have to eat uh, less and less healthy. This is one point that I've heard from locals all the time. The second one is I was struck by the size of the banana plantations, and they live just right next to the natural reserves, which have insects, and it's the same water that goes from one point to another, so there is an effect, and we can see it on both sides. we could say, what would it be if it weren't aside banana plantations? How would be the biodiversity? But we also can expect the the um, the reserve to be threatened if the agriculture stays that way, and it fed my uh, beliefs in how the world should eat and produce more locally, and territories, not necessarily countries, but territories or regions should be kind of as independent as possible, at least in what they eat.
Okay. So you're an agronomist, agriculture.
I
you
learned
work in
agronomy
Yeah.
from one project to another, but I don't have an academic agronomy background, which
Okay.
is which is a shame. Um, so the way I learned agronomy was very uh, from project to project. I didn't like, I wasn't fed with one way of thinking, and because some of my colleagues are agronomists, uh, at the same time I'm um, dwarfed by their knowledge because their knowledge is more complete, and also I'm very happy to have developed an independent way of thinking, which makes me ask questions they would never have asked, and gives great conversations.
True that. And how do you think it could improve the agriculture here? Because I saw the banana plantations; they really do make an impact, and a lot of forest is being cut down for that purpose. But like, how could we maybe stop that, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I believe that we shouldn't be able to eat like all fruits and all vegetables every season. So we should just reduce the choice. It's okay if you are in France like me and you don't eat Costa Rican bananas. It's okay if you don't eat mangoes, because mangoes don't grow in France. And maybe focus more on the fruits you have and develop your fruits industry. France imports 71% of its fruits. It's a shame. We have all the land necessary to grow all the fruits. All we need is a policy, long-term policy, because fruits grow on trees. Trees take time to grow.
Yeah.
This is first thing. Second thing is, we can consider that Costa Rica has the whole population depends on banana plantations. If like every president decided to follow my plan, no one would buy banana plantations. Would buy bananas, and then the economy would just fall, which is bad. I believe that those banana plantations should be replaced by other imported food, in order to make a match between what you produce and what you eat as much as possible. And Costa Rica has a lot of qualities regarding that. They can grow chocolate, coffee. France, we can't. I mean, metropolitan France, we can't. And so many fruits. So they are a country that I believe are able to grow all kind of stuff, and I don't think it would be such a great change in the food.
And also, I saw that the people working on banana plantations are the poorest people here, so they don't earn a lot. They just exploit them as a working force. So that's also a really big problem, I think.
Absolutely.
Then there is a lot of criminal activities going on because of the poor situation that they're in. Also a lot of drugs, and it affects the whole society.
Yes, we live, the farm is on the east side of the coast, and it's near Limon. And every time I said to a Costa Rican I was going close to Limon, they all said, "Oh, be careful! It's full of drugs and drug trafficking, and it's the territory of El Diablo." El Diablo, big narco traffic leader, and I had this thought in the bus crossing banana plantations. I was like, yeah, maybe life is so blocked here. There is so little opportunity that maybe if I had grown here, I would have made the same choices as El Diablo. Maybe I wouldn't have given a fuck, and I would have killed to get out of this situation, and I would have been happy with doing that. So it's my it was just a thought, but I'm surprised I had this thought.
We I think from Europe can not really imagine how people live in other countries which are still in development. I think it's not even possible to really compare, because we have luxury at home, we have running water, we have social help, social care, healthcare. So I think, yeah, I understand what you mean. It can be a challenge.
Yeah. Well, even I would be interested to have your reaction to what I'm going to say, because you know her. We have a colleague here. Her name is Katja, and she's from Russia. And she says maybe we don't have all those services in Russia, and life can be a lot harder than in more Western European countries. But she still has there is still this idea of opportunity. She can still decide who she wants to be, and there is more than maybe 10 different jobs. Like here in banana plantations, it represents more than half of the local population in San Miguel, for sure. So that's the biggest difference in my opinion, even before material access, I would say. What do you think?
Maybe, like, she's from Moscow, as I know, which is a big city, so it offers more opportunities. You know, you can work on a bank, you can work in a shop, but here most of the population is like really far from other areas. So if you want to work, I don't know, somewhere else, not on a banana plantation, you have to drive, you have to have a car, you have to have money for gasoline. I think it's different, definitely. So I'm not sure, maybe, yeah, just the way that the government here has done things, that they are all depending from bananas. That's why it's making it so hard to do anything else.
Yeah.
But I don't know what would be the main reason, because I understand, yeah, also Russia has different system than us, like let's say in Slovenia. So I think they still have less opportunities than we do, but I think it's still bigger opportunity pool than here in Costa Rica or Latin America. And also they have been suppressed. I don't know. It's a hard situation. Did I answer you, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
But I would love to, like, just seeing people working here on the farm from Martin and Hanika makes me happy, because we have a cook who has like a proper job here, and when she gets sick she can stay home, she doesn't have to come to work, and that makes me happy. Also the night guard, he also has a really good job because of people like Martin and Hanika. So if, like, also these projects are creating new opportunities for people in a really poor village such as San Miguel.
Opportunities to have a positive impact. They participate in a program that is very impactful.
Exactly.
And that makes a lot of sense, and that is a healing place for many people also. I noticed. Yes.
And also people, this is a decent job, so I think all the others also want something similar, and it would be nice that we had more places like that. In my
Absolutely,
opinion.
absolutely. But one thing I would want to react to is also, there are big industries that are very negatively impactful, and sometimes you want them to stop their activity or to limit or constrain them with a set of rules,
Yep.
and they often threaten that, okay, the decision you're taking, it will have me lay out maybe 2,000
Yep,
people,
yep.
and for these reasons we stay still. And I have a very Schumpeter point of view regarding the change. I'm not scared to, in my political way of seeing things, I'm not scared to make changes that eventually could destroy jobs, as long as two things. One is that the impact of these jobs is negative, of course, and the second one is you warn them, you give them time to adapt, and if, because it will happen, if there is no other possibility than just laying those people out, you accompany them. This is a political message that is in the mouth of all political leaders, but at least in France, it doesn't really translate into the working market.
I have two thoughts when you were saying that. First, usually those big firms are connected to politics as well. So when they earn money, also the politics gain money. Usually it's connected, even though we don't want it, but usually there's some kind of illegal activities in the background, and they all benefit from it. And usually those firms have really bad conditions for the workers. So you don't really want to be working there. And we had some similar situation in Slovenia. There was a really big firm coming to Slovenia. It was from different country, and they offered, like, they set up a really big company in the middle of the really productive soil in Slovenia. They offered to take 3,000 people, workers, and we were like, okay, we knew that it was really bad for environment, but
what was it about?
I think it was like some car industry, and also making some colors, something like that. It was like pretty toxic for the environment, and it took a really big piece of land that was high quality land for production of food, and there were like consequences. You could see
you could foresee the consequences, and yet
some toxins were like left in the nature. You could see that, and the people were working there, but at some point the firm just decided that they want to go because the restrictions from the government were a little bit higher because of the nature, of course, and they just like closed, and all those 3,000 people were left on the street, and we lost land. We polluted land, people lost their jobs, so basically we sold our souls for that period amount of time.
How long did the project last?
I think it was like 3-4 years, 5 years, something like that.
Short term.
Yeah. So they exploited what they wanted to exploit, and then they went. So I know that some politicians think, okay, we will provide 3,000 jobs, yeah, but long term, you destroyed a lot of good land, a lot of soil, nature, and those people, they were even in more stress.
Yeah.
So I understand, yeah, what you were saying. Okay, we kind of wondered, which I like, because it's a really important topic, especially for Costa Rica, which is, her main beauty is nature, and all the different animals here.
Yeah, so I like the culture too.
Really nice. People are really cool. What is your favorite thing that you had here? Your top moments?
I don't really have a top moment. I have a top mood that lasted for until now, and I hope for the last weeks. Often pretty positive when I'm enthusiastic and I have a lot of energy during holiday. So it was the same for these holidays. I was very pleased to speak Spanish a little after like 10 or 12 years without speaking a word. I had many experiences with Costa Ricans that I liked a lot, and I felt very blessed to discover nature along people who know their topic. For instance, 10 days ago we went on a weekend as a group to a city southeast of Costa Rica, and during the whole day we just stayed in the reserve with the team, so mainly biologists, and people were like running or walking fast in the reserve, trying to find things, but everything was silent to them. And because we were so slow, we would notice so many more things. It was really impressive and incredible. Everything is to be seen to the eye that is acute. And at night we had a night tour, a night walk with a guide, and it was nice. It was really nice, but compared to really digging into the forest and being silent and going into details under that leaf, okay, you can find frog eggs. To me, it was this experience was really dwarfed by the day experience of being in the reserve.
Because you took time and really.
He was explaining things that were interesting, but sometimes like a little superficial. He showed us a lot of things that we had already seen: tarantulas, sloth, snakes, that we had already seen during the day and during overnight tours that we do also at the farm. Because we say it's a farm, it's not really a farm. It's a few fruit trees, and after it's a little piece of jungle that is left with a path in a very wild area of Costa Rica.
Yeah, the place we live, you mean?
The place we live, yes. So there is a lot to see where we are. Yes.
And usually those tours are meant for tourists, which usually just want to see the highlights.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
We are biologists, like, yeah, we see things differently. But also I noticed that people just got used to the things. Like, I'm still excited. I just came. I'm here for a week now, but I'm really excited when I see a mushroom, when I see a like little ant or some things like that. But people living here for like 5 months already.
Yes.
They got more used to it, so.
Yes, but at the same time, when you see Sven, from the day I arrived, he had like 3 weeks left, and he stayed for months, and he's a passionate biologist, and he went in night tour after night tour. Every night he does a tour, even during the day. He's always aware, and he's just enjoying it as long as he can, because he knows there is little time left, and this is incredible.
Yeah.
I love the way the relationship he has with nature, which is at the same time passionate and rational and very full of detailed knowledge, and probably something underneath that I didn't have the opportunity to understand, but it's I get what you see. I get what you said. Still, people can get used to it, and that's one of the reasons Martin has students every day, because passion is contagious, and when you see someone passionate, like I enjoy being with you in reserve day also, because you are excited about things and you are very aware, and you get us to see a lot too.
Yeah. I hope that I will not, I will never get used to life and the exciting things in life. Even if you see the same ant every day, I still want to be like, wow, that's a really cool ant. And I also admire Sven because he's all the time like, wow, a butterfly. I see them every day, but like still, wow.
Yeah.
It makes me appreciate things more.
Absolutely. But to us, it's a butterfly. To him, it's Esperanza Garismura. I don't know what, but the more you dig into a subject, the more specific you get to the subject, and the more you see shades in it. And
true.
He sees a lot more than us.
Yeah. Well, you already know a lot, so you're getting there.
I'm very far from
I know, but still, like,
biologist.
even though you're not a biologist, you learn a lot in this few weeks here. So, also really cool.
Yeah.
But you also do this kind of trips regularly, like you did here in Costa Rica, that you don't go like for holidays on the seaside.
Yes, my favorite kind of holiday is going on my own, sometimes joining a community, sometimes not, in a part of the world that is far from the tours of tourists, which I did a lot when I was younger with my family. And in that dangerous position I get into, I like to have one person that locally knows the hows and whys, and that is able to translate my experience into that, and also open doors, and sometimes also close some doors that need to be kept closed because you can fall into traps.
Yeah. So which countries did you also visit instead, like besides Costa Rica?
I visited in that type of experience, the most impactful country I went to was Guinea-Bissau in south of Senegal, so West Africa, which is very, very poor, very underdeveloped, and under many foreign influences such as Chinese, Koreans, and of course Indians. The most wealth they produce is out of cashew nuts.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And they barely have roads, they don't have bus, they have like hospitals at the capital city, but I wouldn't go there. And it's a country that is so disconnected to the Occidental world that even though they wish they had more, they have kept their own logics in society. And so in Guinea-Bissau, I did several trips. The first one was in Bijagos Island, in which there is the ethnicity or ethnic Bijagos. So like the name of the islands, which is a very beautiful ethnicity or ethnic. I mean physically, and which is organized in a society where the leaders are women, and where they decide things, they take decisions in community, and the people who realize those decisions, make those happen, are men. And it was my first trip in Black Africa, and I was just blown away by this experience. Blown away. And then I came back because after my first trip I met someone, Fula, so in French we say Peul, and he took me in his tribe, like very far on the east side of Guinea-Bissau. And it was in savannah for several weeks with no electricity, no tap water, no water, I mean water from a well. and the house is made of bricks, not bricks, but
Mud.
mud. Yes.
Okay.
And a very different society from Bijagos because they are Muslim
Okay.
and very traditional, but very interesting too.
Very different from France.
Yes, very different from France. Even though, because Senegal was linked to France for a long time, we have many people who are Peul, who are Fula in France. Not many, but we can find some.
Okay. And how did that impact you?
That's a good question. In fact, when I did my second trip in Guinea-Bissau, in the Peul village, in the Fula village, I was considering changing job, and I was making myself like I was documenting a lot myself, a lot.
Like filming or?
No, I was taking knowledge from the outside world. I was reading a lot. I was trying to understand what was at stake for what we eat, and I didn't like the tendency of what we chose, but I wasn't really like the rational was there, but my heart was still. I grew up with industrial agriculture around my countryside house, where I grew up. I grew up in the countryside. It's only monoculture of wheat, of I don't know this in English. It's a flower that follows the sun.
Sunflower.
Sunflower, thank you. And colza, if it's English also, I don't know.
How is it in French?
Colza.
Colza.
Yes.
Okay.
It's an oil plant.
Yeah.
And so I grew up with that, and even though I read a lot about it and I knew there was an issue, I was still believer of that system.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see alternative. And when I came to the village Peul, it was wet season.
Okay.
And I remember the first 2-3 days they planted woods of manioc in the soil.
Yeah.
And it was just wooden stick, and after 2 weeks it was the beginning of a plant with leaves, roots.
Okay.
And I thought, wait a minute, we don't need all those chemicals. I mean, we're not a tropical country.
Yeah, okay.
I know it's not this fertile, but we don't need all those medical, therapeutic for our own degenerate species that we developed, making experiments. We were cut from the noise of Hanukkah's car from
It
La
happens,
Finca. But what I discovered in this village out of nowhere in Savannah is that I know agriculture is a brutal way of asking nature to produce what we need to be fed, and it will always be brutal because it has to be, because if you let it grow and go, it will not satisfy the human needs. I know that. But does it need to go so far? Maybe not. And that's why in France we have a great heritage of having very specialized agriculture from one region to the other, and this we call terroir. It's like the good soil, the good earth, the good sun position for the good product. So every region has its own microclimate, and to each microclimate you have a few species of different varieties of anything that can grow or that feels well if it's cattle. And for this reason, we have a very, very diversified way of doing agriculture, which is very attractive to many countries. Our milk has been bought from China for decades. For instance, we sell 1 hectare out of 2 to export of wheat.
Okay.
We sell wine. This is the famous wine and cheese, you know it. But we sell a lot of other things, and we are, except for what is high in manpower, such as vegetable and fruits, which is very, very sad. We produce everything, and for ourselves. But this way is going more like capitalistic, because France is part of capitalistic, which is not necessarily bad, capitalistic system, in which we are in competition with other countries that have different parameters. And for this reason, for also because we belong to the European Union that has this policy. Are you in the European Union? So you have the PAC, Politique Agricole Commune, Common Agricultural Policy?
I think so, yes.
This is a very strong way to force agriculture into some direction. And because of all these reasons, we're just getting closer and closer to what are the other agricultural systems are. It's very schematic because I would love to develop into specifics from one country to another. But the main idea is that we're losing our diversity, and because we're losing our diversity, we're destroying a great tool to adapting to climate change, and also we're destroying our capacity of autonomy. And this is a saddening thought, and that's why I joined my current company as a financial analyst, because one of the main goal of my company, it's not to finance agricultural projects. This is a way to do. It's more to reunite the agricultural world that is fantasized by French people, reunite this world with, let's say, the citizen world that we can separate in 2 parts, like the consumer on one side and the financer on the other side, that are the partners. Eventually they are the partners of the agricultures. They need consumers to eat what they do. They need financial support to realize their project. So, and this link has been broken for a long time now, and we're trying to make our part to make it more understandable for the consumer. The consumer is further from its dishes than ever. Before, people knew where the beans came from and what type of beans and how to cook it, and everybody knew it. And they knew it goes well with duck fat, for instance. Now people, they just buy already pre-cooked shit and they just go in the microwave and it's over. And we don't know, maybe the rice comes from very far away. We make rice in France. We have great rice in the south of France, in Camargue, for instance. And so the consumer needs to be educated, which is very difficult because we have such a diversity, and because we have also such bad options in supermarkets. We always need to be very knowledgeable, have a lot of knowledge for each produce we choose, which is a shame. And the agriculture needs also to be able to talk more to the citizen and make his skills known more. and the financial world is very far away from the agricultural world. I feel like a bridge to all these people sometimes, and that's a part of my job I like.
Cool. I also think that people kind of like the consumers we kind of got a little bit spoiled with the amount of choice you have. Let's say in Slovenia, when you come to the store and you have like store by store by store with the same products, and when you look at, I don't know, the yogurts, you have 200 different types of yogurts.
Is it a real figure? Or is
I'm
it an idea?
exaggerating, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like when you come here in Costa Rica, you have, well, even here I was surprised how many things you can choose from. But in some other parts of the world, when I was there standing in the front of the aisle, I had like 2 yogurts to choose from or 3, and that's it.
Yeah.
And in Slovenia, it's like, to be honest, probably at least 30 different yogurts, which is mind-blowing.
Yes.
And that's why we need all this mass production, industrial agriculture, because we just demand more and demand more. Yes. And I think it also depends, it should be regulated by the government, by somebody who knows those things, not to just leave it for people, like normal people just buying things, because they would have to have a lot of knowledge. Okay, I want to buy this because it's from here, it's local, things like that.
Yes.
And we cannot expect people to learn those things to make an impact. I think It should be regulated by government.
I completely agree with you. It's a long time ago now because I'm getting older, but when I was studying, I learned, so it was like 12 years ago, that yogurt packet, to make it, you have to, and it's not many elements. It's yogurt and the cover and the pot. So all those 3 elements, to make it, you have to do like twice the transport of the world, so 80,000 kilometers.
Okay.
It's huge.
To make
to make a yogurt, it's huge. And in France, I know for sure that 70% of what is in supermarket that is not fresh is produced by 31 different not companies but trademarks that belong to less than 10 companies. So you have the feeling of choice, but in fact it's always the same methodology.
There is one big player with kind of little strings who basically holds all the things that we see, like Nestle, Coca-Cola, and usually those are the biggest consumptions also of water, drinking water in the world, and also the most polluting companies in the world.
Yeah, Coca-Cola, I think it's the first producer of plastic or the first consumer of plastic.
And it's a crazy amount of water, drinking water, they use in different countries.
Yes.
I think they also wanted to buy some Slovenian springs because we have still drinkable water, and Heineken bought it, and like they have water now.
Yes.
That is, So this is how we destroy the world.
We have same scandals in France, you know, about water.
It's all over the world. Well, you hear about them in those developed places, but imagine what is happening in places in development still.
Yes, when I was in Guinea-Bissau and I was going to Bijagos, I was going through a very traditional boat made of wood, where you feel like you're crossing the Mediterranean Sea to go to Europe with it, like overcrowded, and it was really crazy experience and very interesting. But we went by a huge Chinese boat that I think Chinese government had paid for the right to fish, and it was fishing like industrial way just by the capital city in one of the most where there are the most density of fish in the world and protected species. It's here. And nobody talks about it, nobody sees it, that it's here. And nobody talks neither about the environment costs of those productions, and it's not about I don't care about the environment personally, because I care about the human species. When we destroy the environment, we destroy the living conditions of the human species. The earth, the environment, they will solve it, but maybe without us, because we will not be able to survive it. And before the humans disappearing, we're far from that. I know it. It's like dying from cancer. You will not die right away, but you will die slowly with a lot of pain. And now we have the first I have the French word, but I don't have the English word. The first elements that show us how life is going to be harder and harder, because
we have first evidences of that.
Yes, because there is just less resources. When I was young, we could eat good fish, big fish for reasonable price. Now it's a luxury.
Yeah.
And half of what you say in a fishmonger, it was from more than half from all the other parts of the world, or raised like salmon, all types of salmon. Ultimately, in the 50s, French people would spend from 40% to 60% of their whole revenue into food. Today, this percentage is between 8% and 80%. 18%.
Okay.
So it has decreased by more than half.
So the price of the food went down, you say?
People spend less time buying food,
okay,
and more time renting apartments because they can't buy apartments, or just paying for Spotify and other subscriptions that didn't exist before, which is a big part of the budget of households. And the first thing that decreases in times of crisis is always food.
So the full quality, you say, it goes down, and let's say people paying for Spotify, YouTube,
yes,
ChatGPT.
People got used to not spending a lot in food, and all this purchase power, they use it now for entertainment. Entertainment share of a household budget has increased a lot, and renting also. And for those reasons, you wouldn't cut your Spotify account because you have less money. You would just eat less good tomatoes or cucumber instead of tomatoes until you get the money back.
But to be honest, the quality of the food now, like the really high quality food and the low quality food, it's huge. It's not like this ecological tomato is a little bit better than the other one. No, it's...
Yes, but the difference in price, at least in France, is also huge.
Really huge.
Because the distributors are used to that. So the consequence is, I mean, if you want to make a change, we have to do all we described together about government coercion and reflecting in the price all the bad, all the negative impact of producing the yogurt and everything. But we also have to make a change, a cultural change, in what the people, I'm talking as a French, for French people, I'm extrapolating to other countries maybe, but the French people need to understand that if you want quality food, you need to pay a little more, and it's a cultural change.
Yep. And again, like here, I was really happy because I saw that we eat portions that are filling enough for us, so you have enough food, and on the other side, you don't throw away food. Because in Slovenia, I saw a lot of people buying things, buying a lot, like too much things, and they just throw it away. And it's like...
Yes.
Which is sad, if you think of it. and it also contributes to more production of food. A lot of food goes thrown away. It just keeps adding to the whole picture, which is gonna be, yeah, like you said, devastating for us.
Yeah, and sorry, I have all my figures in France, but in France, 20 to 30% of the raw production goes away because it's not good caliber, good size. Yes.
Yeah.
And then after it's bought, it's 30% of what French people buy that goes to waste. So cumulated, it's almost half of what you produce that just goes to waste. And
like we said, we are a little bit spoiled with all the amount of food we have. We just want to have bananas, mangoes, yogurt, that and that and that, all different kinds of meat.
Yes.
And it has to come from somewhere, you know. And also, like you said, fish. We get fish. I wanted to buy fish in Iceland, and I was like, okay, Iceland is like really fishy. I was living in a fish town.
Yes.
They brought in fresh fish every single morning, and I went to the closest shop there. I was walking. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try Iceland fish. I tried to read the back of the package. All the fish that I could grab were from Indonesia, China, somewhere like that. I didn't find one piece of packed fish that was from Iceland. Not even one.
Incredible.
And we had like fish coming in every single day. Yeah. I was just like.
Do you know why?
I think it's just easier. Like it's cheaper for them to buy those and export the fresh
quality
fish.
Iceland fish.
Yeah, exactly. They export it
to
other
because
countries.
Iceland is very expensive.
Let's say they hunt. They're still one of the last countries in the world that hunts whales for meat.
Yes.
And they export whale meat to Japan.
I understand for whales, but for other fish.
I'm not sure for the fish, but I think it's going to Europe.
Okay.
I'm not sure to which countries.
It's like we all collectively live in a bad dream. We know it. Yeah. We know it's gonna end bad, and we just try to save each other individually and maybe family size without giving a fuck about our bigger selves.
I want to look at it from a brighter side because yeah, it can be really dark. But on the other hand, we are here in the project Work with Nature, and Martin and Hanneke and the other founder,
Matthias.
Yeah. They bought land, which they just left now for nature to take over. So it's also a lot of reforestation as well. They have all the time new students who experience this life. They will definitely take it back home, you know.
Yeah.
How can you also contribute, which is a ripple effect if you ask me, because I will tell that to my family. They will start maybe thinking a little bit differently, eating a little bit differently, and if you think how many students turn here.
We're both kind of young in the project, but do you have already some takeaway out of what will you change in your nutrition,
in my normal life?
In your normal life coming back from Costa Rica?
I want to eat definitely more vegetables for my own health. Maybe reduce portions, because now I'm eating a lot, but I know that I could eat less and still be, fat.
You're not fat, you're eating a lot, yes, and still
not
thin.
Fat, like sufficiently
healthy.
Not hungry anymore. How do you say that? Fat. not
fed,
fat.
fed.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So I think that will be one thing. Also, like the amount of clothes that we have. Here I'm not changing that much. Well, we do, how do you say, perspirate a lot because of the humidity, but other than that, you don't need that much clothes. And we have a lot at home. At least me, I have a lot of clothes.
Isn't
So,
it because also it's colder
yeah,
and you
but
live a more stressful life, so your smell is you
no,
give more smell?
not.
No?
It's not that stressful my life, but like just the amount of clothes because we can buy them because they're cheap for now. So maybe I can reduce that, and also yeah, the food. Definitely, I don't want to buy bananas from Costa Rica because I know how they impact lives here. So maybe that's from my side.
And bananas from Costa Rica, they are very well known. They are known to be very good and to be high quality.
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, it's true compared to other bananas. If you cross a town of banana plantation, it comes to your mouth, to your breath, to your throat. You feel something very nasty inside you. They just put neurotoxic from planes. Even if the workers are still on the field, they don't give a shit, and we're just a few kilometers away from that. And
Crazy.
and
Yeah.
it's considered to be one of the best bananas
In the world.
yes, industrial bananas in the world. Yes. So I think that's definitely the biggest takeaway. I was not eating much bananas
Me
and
neither.
oranges because it's not really much from France. But now I will
Really big mosquito.
definitely never eat again.
I also try to eat the fruits and the vegetables that my parents produce because we have a garden. So I really like that. I just want to keep that tradition going because I know it's healthier for me. I know where the fruits and vegetables come from.
Absolutely.
They are not washed in pesticides, which is a really big plus for me. So for my health, the health of nature, and just in general, it's way better. And like you said, bananas, I don't know, avocados, things like that, they do make a really big impact. So why would we if we can just eat something that we have? And Slovenia, we have really good apples, pears, like so much fruit, so much fruit.
Yeah. But at the same time, we're here giving advice. I have to tell you, I feel a little guilty about the way I live my life. For instance, when I started this current job, I was with people that, in my mind, were like the most radical people trying to make an impact, and particularly for the people who were on the impact side of the company. And because for many reasons, it's more, let's say, it's more educated background people who are in my company, which comes most often times with, I would say, wealth. And I was very surprised and very disappointed to see that the head of impact in my company, for the 2 weeks of holiday she had, she went to Nepal and then tried to escalate Mount Everest, the highest mountain, for 2 weeks. And I realized I go by plane every year, several times a year. I went to Costa Rica for 1 month, even if it's for a long time, it's a very long distance. And I'm here giving away advice to people, maybe not as lucky as me, with maybe less opportunities or less choice than me. And do I behave correctly to be able to give those advice? I think my advices are good. But I feel also that I am not coherent. I am not coherent enough. I mean, yes, I go camping. I use my holiday to go camping in France, and it's very low impact, very low carbon impact holiday. But when I go to Costa Rica, it's more than tenfold. It doesn't. It's not off.
Yeah.
It's not balanced.
Yeah.
It's not offset by the fact that I camp in France. It's still very polluting.
I definitely agree because I travel a lot. So I also don't want to be presented as somebody who's doing everything by the book, because I'm not. I know that. I buy a lot of clothes. I travel a lot. I eat a lot of meat, which is also impactful for the nature. I will
Depends on
just,
what kind of meat.
yeah, but still, I will try to, in some parts that I know that I could do better and that I will not even miss if I take out, I will just take it out and like start slowly. If I'm gonna be perfect, no, I'm not gonna be. I don't even expect other people, and I never preach like, yeah, you have to do that and that and that, because I cannot be a role model for you. So
Yeah.
but still, like, some changes we can make that are not gonna impact us, but they can contribute if everybody does it.
There will not be enough.
Yeah.
If you want real change, change comes with change. So.
Yeah. I still want to stay optimistic because, like, what can we do? Like, we cannot just kill ourselves and hope
as
that
individuals, we can't do much. As a society, we could do a lot better.
I know.
Like, you want to go to Costa Rica, it's okay to go to Costa Rica. Maybe if you go by boat, and there are boats that go by with the wind. We start to do transportation with the wind now.
I'm seasick, so I think I would die on the way.
Okay, but it would be your sacrifice to die to go to Costa Rica. You would enjoy so much more Costa Rica after that.
If I get there.
For that to happen, you need a lot more holiday because you need to go to Costa Rica, come back. It's a 3-week trip at least. So you would have to add these 3 weeks. So the society would have to give you that extra time to accept that sacrifice also. And this could happen in another society, less productivist and with less expectations as individual to society.
Yeah, we can do little steps, and we are in some parts doing it already. In other parts we're doing big steps back, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
To be honest, I don't have the right answer how to tackle that.
No, I think we don't yet.
Yeah.
We don't yet.
And even the green energy, which we think is gonna save the world, I think it's also one step in front, 2 steps back, if you ask me.
Okay.
But that's another topic. Thank you still for the little needle mover there, and like, you know, to poke a little bit, because I definitely agree. Yeah, well, I don't have an answer for that, so I'll just keep that topic open for everybody else to discuss. I wanted to ask you, what is your contribution here as well? I know that you're helping on some projects.
My contribution is very low, I would say. My contribution is almost psychological to those students that have to work hard to finish their comparison between one spot and another for this type of tree or that type of animal. But still, I think that I'm fresh blood in a community where turnover is quite low, and that I come with excitement, with also, I hope, goodwill and fresh spirit that can maybe give a new kick to the energy and enthusiasm that have had the students here. I didn't do much in terms of study. For the students, I helped a few students dry some earth and compile knowledge. But we also go on the field, and me going on the field to make a plot, for instance, it's work. It's even hard work. But it also allows one of our students who would be there if I weren't on the field to have an extra day of work and do those compilations. So this is my greatest contribution to the studies in the group.
Perfect.
Yes.
I think that helps.
Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah.
yes.
What are your goals for the future when you come back?
When you come back? Now it's sure I will. When you come back to France?
Yeah.
I thought you were expecting
Well,
me to come back to Costa Rica.
Everybody
too.
says they're gonna come back, so maybe you also decide.
Yes, it's true. When I come back, I have several goals. Short term, I want to participate in the Viking run with Dan, a student that I met here in the program, Dutch student. Second, more long term, I want to pass a degree, an international degree that is internationally renowned for finance.
Mhm.
That's called CFA. That's not very hard to pass, but that's still a lot of work. I think it will take me one year of full preparation. Should have started in January, but didn't want to diminish my Costa Rican experience. So I just postponed by 1 month. And after, I have professional goals that might evolve with time, so I'm not gonna develop too much on that part.
Okay, cool. What are your also other hobbies that you have besides that? I'm asking because
Yes.
you told me about them and I was like excited. So
Which one did I talk?
camping and things like that, and like,
Ah,
but
yes.
others as well. I want to.
Okay, yeah, I like camping. I'm a former Boy Scout. I did it radical, and I kept going out a lot in my life. Not only traveling, but also I traveled a lot in France, getting to know my country. I met also people who are not biologists, but who are species specialists, with whom I have projects of counting birds in migratory spots. But I was gonna go with my hobbies with chess.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, I do play a lot of chess on my spare time.
Perfect. Thank you.
What's your hobbies?
My hobbies. I like to travel. I like to go look for animals in Slovenia. I do it like I track. By winter, I track different animals like wolves, lynxes.
Wow, that's impressive.
I also go by night just to check like if there are some animals.
So you do the same,
Yeah.
but in Slovenia.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. That's why you have this eagle eye every time.
Yeah, it's not like here, everything is crawling here, and in Slovenia you really have to look
hunt.
for them.
You
Yeah,
hunt.
yeah.
Are you a hunter?
No,
Do you like hunters?
that's a tricky question for my open air podcast. I like them if they are normal people.
Next question.
Yeah, maybe I will dodge that one. But like every person that is moral in their decision, I like him. But if they just want to hunt from an ego point of view, just like I want to kill that animal
Because
for a
he's
trophy.
the biggest and the strongest.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't like that because you mess up with evolution, and like why? You're not a god. Why would you play a god? just because
It's a very possessive way also of seeing the world. I like it, so I want to own it.
Yeah.
And to own it, I will kill it.
And like you kill the strongest and nicest species, which could distribute their genes over time and like keep the species strong.
Yeah.
And in that way, only the weak are left.
You're attracted to that animal. Let's say it's a lion, and you're attracted because it's royal, magnificent.
Yeah.
And so you're attracted, so you like it. And if you like it, then how do you express your love for it? And if the answer is I want to kill it, to own it, maybe there is something fucked up about it.
Yeah.
I am a future hunter.
Future or?
Yes, I didn't tell you, but it's also in my.
Okay.
I'm about to pass my hunting license.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know how it works in Slovenia, but in France we have. How much longer do you want it to be? Because
I'm not sure how long it is, so.
Okay. You will see. You will make your choices.
I hope let's see. Okay, we still have enough power.
Okay. In France, the hunting system has been very traditional and is still pretty traditional, and it's one of the last places where you can meet, and when the rich can meet the poor, where the people of the city can meet people of the countryside, and in a good manner, and work together.
Okay.
50 years ago, I think there was no license, so you just would ask for it, and it's like a visa. You pay, you ask, you pay, and then you get it. 100 years ago, hunters were very full of local knowledge, and with time, after World War II, became more and more entertainment. And I think 25 years ago, between 20 and 30 years ago, they put a license, and now in the license you have to learn a lot, not only about the weapon, but also a lot about the animals. And there is a double trend. One of the license makes people more aware of their environment. On the other side, French people, I'm talking only about French because that's the only I know. You have regulation huntings for boars that are really necessary, but hunters don't hunt enough. And on the other side, people from the city mainly, when they go out, they don't want to stand still for hours in the snow, waiting for something that will never go. So they prefer to hunt. It's not chicken, it's pheasants. And,
those birds.
Yes, poultry. And for that, you have to raise them, because if every weekend as a hunting director you have to kill more than 100 birds, it means that you have to buy them. And so it's just industrial entertainment, stupid hunting that has no link to anything doing with the ecosystem. And it's going mainstream, whereas the traditional traditional way of hunting boars and deers that need to be regulated is going lower and lower in France. So yes, let's hope we get a new generation of people who don't only hunt with rifles, but also with cameras and count birds and know what's around them, and participate in programs and kill boars, because if not, they will destroy the fields. When fields are destroyed by boars, it's the hunting association in which all hunters from France belong that has to pay.
I know.
So,
but the
it's
boars,
the same in Slovenia?
But the boars also have a really good impact for the environment because they actually, when they dig on the ground, they put more air into the ground, so the earth is more alive, because usually when we have an intense agriculture there, it's compact with little animals living there, but then they go and how do you say, dig.
I understand.
And it's making the aeration of the earth.
Yeah, but does it offset the quantity of food that they eat and the destruction of corn fields? And I mean,
we are looking from the perspective of a person, right? Not like
I'm not into animal well-being. I'm not very sensitive to this topic.
I know, but we are looking through the perspective of a human race. So we don't want them to eat our corn, which in the first place, corn shouldn't be planted in Europe because it's from America. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's been there for a long time now.
I know, but we messed with the environment, and now it's like the animals have adopted. They have started eating our massive fields of corn, even though, like, if we would leave them a little bit more space, they would just probably exist in the forest and we wouldn't see them anyway.
Well, before they were wolves. You have wolves, we don't.
Yeah, because we killed them all.
You still have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we killed them all, that's why we don't have them. Otherwise they would probably also regulate the amount of boars. And also we gave them the food, which is really powerful for them, so that's why they produce more. And now we're killing them because, like, there are too many of them. Yeah, well, we made that happen.
Exactly.
But I will kind of pull back from that question because it's a topic for an hour and a half, I think, at least. It's a heavy topic, like agriculture and things like that. But yeah, still a food for thought, I would say. Something to think about. The last thing I wanted to ask you, what would you say to viewers or the listeners of the podcast if they want to try something new, they want to maybe live their life more authentic, do something they really want but they're scared? I'm not talking about big travels, like, also it can be, but maybe just some things, regular things in normal life that they want to do and they're afraid, or they have some maybe setbacks that, I don't know, anything?
Yes.
What would you tell them?
Yes, I think we'll try to link it to what we just said for the last moments we spent together. And being very French, I will link it to food. But life is like food, and you have to be balanced. You have to try a lot of little things, and it's like we're talking about banana fields. There is no one big solution that will work in your life. There will be a multitude of many small solutions that will help you find the final way of solving your issues or living a balanced life. You can't have a food industry depending on only banana. You have to produce everything, a little everything. And in your life, it's very ridiculous to say it because I think everybody says it, but try things, try shit, try, make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. I'm happy to make them because it's just the consequence of experiencing. You make mistakes or you succeed. You succeed, it's just only positive. If you make mistakes, it's just the price of the success that you had before that we'll have after. So yes, just try things and look around for other solutions. Even though never look for the big solution that will solve everything. It doesn't exist. I think that's what I would advise your community.
Okay. Ashe, I think it was nicely said. I didn't expect that linked by food, but I think it makes a lot of sense to me. Because it was also for me, like, I try a lot of things and then I see what is working, and the other thing that is maybe not working is just bringing me closer to the thing that is working for me.
Yeah.
So
And
I
so
think
you
it's
know
perfect.
better yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did we maybe forget something that you want to still add, or that, like, final last words that you want to?
No, I didn't expect anything. I was just reacting to your questions and to the conversation. So I didn't try to pull out a message. So no, I'm fine with what I said.
Perfect. Thank you for sitting here with me with all the mosquitoes and debating.
Yes.
I was actually really enjoying it. I thought I told you it's gonna be 10 to 15 minutes, and I think it's now an hour. So
Yes.
I think we did good.
I'm not surprised you've heard from her and I. It's what we do at lunch and what we do at dinner. Maybe I talk a little less and we debate a little more. But I was the invitee, we say, the guest. As a guest, yeah. I talked a little more today, but we had great conversation with Tiasha every time.
Thank you. Thank you again, and hope to talk to you about things soon. Yes. Other things that are interesting to me. Okay, so bye-bye.
Bye-bye.